Hello and welcome to today's episode of Hotspot Hunters. Today we're looking at a location that has produced a whopping 55.69% growth in just 18 months. That's based on the purchase price, the initial purchase price, and an evaluation from March of 2023. That's the official bank valuation just 18 months after the initial purchase, which meant an increase in equity of $362,000. Just think for a moment what you do with $362,000. That's more than just a few holidays. Perhaps that's an upgrade to an existing family home or another property, a new car, better education for the kids, or the holy grail of property investment, early retirement. I'm going to tell you exactly where this property is so that you can do whatever research you need to as well. Welcome back. As promised, I'm going to tell you exactly where this property is. This property that's achieved a whopping 55.69% increase in growth in just 18 months, and a lot more detail about the specific location. But first, a little note about the purchases of this property, because as we know, everybody's circumstances are different, and you always want to be making sure that you're finding the right property in the right location for your individual circumstances. So the couple here were Aaron and Serena. Yes, those are their real names. Aaron is a police officer and Serena is a primary school teacher and librarian. So we're talking about classic Aussie battlers here. We're not talking about properties that are only realistic for high or super high net worth or super high income individuals. We're talking about salt of the earth, good people working hard, and what they were able to afford. Now it turns out that Aaron and Serena were working pretty long hours. They barely got enough time to spend with their daughter, and nothing would make them happier than being able to work part-time so the family could spend more time together, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Now, they couldn't afford to do that. Now, that's what's inspired their property investment journey, and they've now bought two properties with us here at Dashdot. The property I'm telling you about today is the second property that they bought. The first property that they bought, well, that's gone up by 18.42%, which is in itself a pretty amazing result, but that's in another location. So we're not going to be talking about that one today. We'll save that for another video. Today, we're talking about the second property that they've purchased, which has really set them up for life. It's grown by 55.69%, as I mentioned. The purchase price was an initial $650,000. Now, the cash that they needed to put down, including deposit and various fees and things like that, ended up being $131,588. Now, they were able to use equity from other investments or cash that they had at the time, but that's still not a huge number for a lot of people. If you're listening to this, it might be possible that you actually have access to a similar amount of capital that you could put into a purchase like this. And now, 18 months later, just 18 months, that value has shot up from $650,000 in the property, with the latest bank valuation coming in at $1,012,000. That's an official bank valuation. So that's $362,000 that they've effectively made. That's what the property has gone up by in just 18 months. That's also 2.82 times their initial investment of $131,588. I don't know about you, but 2.82 times your money, 282% of your money in just 18 months, dealing with something as safe as property, sounds like an amazing deal. So it's a truly remarkable return. And now it's time to reveal the location. But before I do, our usual disclaimer. And before we go any further, here is our Hotspot Hunters special warning. And now, back to the video. So, this property location. Now, you might be thinking that it is in a mining town or something that's really super industry specific. It might be one of those boom and bust locations. They pop up every now and then, make a lot of money, then lose it all. You always need to be very careful of those. But this is not a location like this. This is a major urban area. In fact, this is a suburb in Australia's 22nd largest city. It's also a renowned cattle town. They have a lot of beef up there, as well as other industries that they're supporting. We're talking about a well-established city, and from what I've told you so far, you may have guessed that it is Rockhampton. And the suburb in Rockhampton where they were able to achieve these returns was Coongal.
Hey, it's Goose here from Dashdot, and since we're talking about hotspots, there's something extremely important that I need to tell you. I also want to give you a valuable gift as well. You see, when you hear of someone's property investment absolutely crushing it, it's not singularly because they chose a booming suburb. There's more factors than just location that go into investing in winning property. There's cash inflows and outflows that matter. The volatility of a suburb matters. And most important, will a particular property in a particular suburb help you reach your end goal? Which is why, on that note, I'd like to offer you an incredibly valuable tool for free. It's called the Apex Report, and you'll get details on how to get it with my compliments below. Put simply, the Apex Report instantly checks if your next property investment makes financial sense, tells you how much you could afford to spend on the property, gives you an accurate return on investment calculation with the touch of a button, and shows you when and how to maximize the value of your investment. The Apex Report is a proprietary tool that we use with our clients to help them get an average return on invested capital of over 60% in their first 12 months. Which is why, if you're thinking about buying an investment property at any time in the future, you must get your hands on this free report now. It's yours, free, for a limited time. Just click the link and get your copy now.
Let's dive in to get some more information specifically about Coongal and Rockhampton so that you can see exactly why all of the signs were there and why Coongal lit up as a really great location when Aaron and Serena invested in this location back when they did. To start with, let's look at Rockhampton as a whole. First, as mentioned, it's a cattle town, not a mining town. Good quality Australian beef, sought after all over the world. A fantastic, solid industry. So that's the first thing that's really, really good. Second, there's a strong military presence. There's the ADF Western Street Army Barracks. So the local economy is significantly boosted when visiting overseas troops pop over and stay in the city. Tourism is another key factor, and there are a lot of other industries as well, particularly around power generation these days. Something that we're always looking at is infrastructure in areas, because with infrastructure, population, you generally tend to get some really good growth. There's a central Queensland hydrogen project that is a leading investment up there with $14.8 billion of investment going in. We've got the Gladstone nickel project with funding of 1.6, got a lot of energy projects happening in fact. And on top of that, we've got some high value construction projects that are going to contribute to the economy as well. We've got some tenders out at the moment for 3 really big projects. The Keppel Bay Sailing and Convention Centre, $68.5 million. South Rockhampton Flood Levy, $60 million, and Brown Park Stadium redevelopment at $54 million. Those are significant investments for a city with around about 80,000 people. Now, looking at Coongal more specifically, the fantastic news here is that it really has presented an excellent opportunity based on current median sales prices. $300,000. That is an amazing entry-level price for a booming area. Now, don't forget, this is not financial advice, but there are indications that you can be looking at 17.75% growth, which means over the course of the next 15 months or so, we are at a 70% confidence level that the median sales price is going to increase to somewhere between $343,000 and $364,000. Now, in addition to the strong sales growth potential, the rental prices are also ticking up rather impressively. We're looking at the moment at rents which are at a median of $400, popping up to somewhere between $422 and maybe even $468. So the data predictions we have are around 11%. Again, this is not financial advice, with a similar level of confidence there. So those are really, really good indicators for this particular region, for this particular suburb. The low entry price, strong growth potential propped up by a bustling economy in the wider region. Now, the predominant dwelling type is a 3-bedroom detached dwelling. That makes up 53% of all of the dwellings here. That high percentage indicates a robust demand for this type of residence, making it a really attractive investment. And the rental market is only 15.28% of the total housing sector in Coongal. That's pretty low. And it tends to indicate with such a rental market that you can generally be looking at really good returns for investors. And that's one of the reasons for the high growth and high rental predictions that we found. So now you have it. All the key information on Coongal in Rockhampton. which produced for Aaron and Serena a whopping 55.69% growth over just 18 months. You can see they are well on their way to being able to go to part-time, spend a lot more time with their daughter, their family. It's a really fantastic outcome. Now, it was a really good find. Obviously, not every property in Coongal has increased by that much, and not every property in Coongal will increase by that much in the future. But we're proud to say that every single property that any of our clients have bought in the last 18 months here at Dashdot have increased in value handsomely. That's the power of having the right team, the right approach, and crucially, the right data. There are some real gems out there, and we can't wait to help you find them. Thanks very much.